Welcome, everybody, to the May Barrels for Hope live stream. It's amazing. I can't believe it's already through May, almost to June. And in less than 2 months, we've got our annual event coming up. So it's going to be awesome. We got a lot of cool news for you this stream and more to talk about the annual event. So to kick it off, I'm going to send it to Josh.
All right, guys. So we got a lot of fun announcements on this stream tonight. And one of the biggest ones is our charity committee announcement. So as you guys know, if you remember, we posted on Patreon a while back about volunteers for potential charity committee spots to form a small crew to sort through any submissions so that we can narrow down the charities that we're going to support for year 2 for our 4 pillars. Those selections have been made. Everyone... By the way, very difficult time choosing when you have so many awesome people reaching out to be a part of it. So to only be able to select 3, we wish we could have more, but it's also the sort of thing where we don't, you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen on it. It can start to get really bogged down. So we've selected our committee, Reggie and I have. And so on the committee is Mike Ackley, the Bourbon Engineer, and Dustin Eckhart. So those 3 guys will be taking in all the submissions that you guys have made for charities for year 2. If there is a charity that you would like to submit for cancer, children's charities, mental health, or military, if you dig back through the Patreon a little bit, you can find the form. If you haven't submitted one of those yet and you have something on your mind, definitely do that now, because that crew is already looking through the submissions and we'll be discussing and working on narrowing those down. And then Reggie and I will come in and the 5 of us together will make a committee decision on the 4 charities we will support. We did speak about this last night in the board meeting. All the existing charities will be part of the conversation as well. So we may have some repeat charities for next year. We may not, just depends on what submissions you guys have and what the charity committee decides, but it's ultimately in their hands and they'll bring us. Oh, and there we go. We got it posted up in chat. So if you want to click on one of those links, and then that'll help you submit charities. So big announcement. It's a big step forward, because this is part of the idea, for you guys to have some ownership in the organization and to be able to recommend charities that you want us to look into supporting. So we thank you all for your submissions. We thank every volunteer that threw their ring in the hat to be a part of this committee. And we really appreciate. And if we ever need to expand or anything like that, we've got a great pool of people to pull from. So thank you guys all for being a part of this. And I'll kick it over to Lance for a couple of announcements on his end.
So we locked down our next barrel pick, but I'll tell you guys that after I tell you guys the allocated bottles for this month that Narav and A1 generously donated. Weller Special Reserve, Booker's 2401, and Blanton's. So those are the 3 donated allocated bottles. And then we just today found out that we locked in Knob Creek Bourbon as one of our picks. So that'll be our 4th pick. We've done Dark Arts, obviously, we're going to get into. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Ben Holiday is getting set. We're trying to get that around August 22nd. And then Knob Creek will be maybe in a couple months. We don't know. We'll have to find out some more information and get that to you. As always, if you go to the website, you can barrelsforhope.com. You can go to the events tab, and the upcoming barrel picks are there. I haven't got the Knob Creek in yet since it was just announced, but that's very exciting. That was one we were really hoping to get.
Lance, have you been on a Knob Creek pick yet?
Nope.
Josh, you haven't, right? Kim? Nope. So I just went on one literally, a week or 2 ago with our own group and a restaurant we were partnered with. And I'm going to tell you what, everybody get excited, get on the list if you haven't been on a pick yet for the Knob Creek drawing, because it's insanely awesome. They roll out the red carpet. We went into the Fred No Distillery, which anyone follows Jim Beam like I do knows that's their experimental ones where they do all the little book stuff. and that's a personal invite only place. And then we got to bottle our own Knob Creek bottle while we're there, do the barrel pick. They give you lunch at the kitchen table there. It's out of this world experience.
I know I've never had a bad Knob Creek single barrel pick, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they're starting to get 10-year-old barrels in there. The barrel we picked was a 10-year age date. It was actually 10 years, 6 months.
Nice.
Yeah, their pick, that to me is the perfect Jim Beam product. It's the
Me too.
perfect proof point. It's the perfect profile, whatever they do for their barrel selection to put those in. And then, of course, some of them, like they're all good. Like to Lance, to your point, I've never had a bad one. I've had some stratospherically awesome ones.
Yeah.
And the pick is in the warehouse too. You're in the rick house doing the pick, which is, I mean, cool.
Yeah, so that's super exciting that we got those 4 nailed down, 2 with Legacy Distilleries. So we're cooking this year.
Yeah, I'd say, we were talking about it recently, all of us, about how the year 1 picks, we were looking at the list of what we did and we're like, wow, man, we got some great picks. Year 1, year 2 is going to be, we got our hands full trying to top that already out of the gate with 2 legacies. And then one of the hottest blending, we're on the front edge of this. So people even really finding out about how good Dark Arts is. And then to have Ben Holiday in the mix as well, like good grief.
Oh, yeah. Ben Holiday's been super popular this year.
Yeah. So we're really, feels like we're doing good. We're trying to do good by you guys. We're trying our best. So, but yeah, good stuff. I guess we can get into the Elijah Craig barrel proof pick.
Yeah,
recap.
so I wasn't on it. So yeah, I guess kick it back to you for the Elijah Craig barrel proof pick, and I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, so this was a really fun pick experience. It was a very interesting pick experience. We had a great crew. We started the day by having some parking lot pours, just hanging out, getting the palate warmed up as we waited on our slot to come up for the pick. And
before the parking lot pours, it started with Elijah Craig 18. I mean, I know it's not everybody, but I love it. That was the release for the day. So,
nice.
Yep.
Right off the rip, got Elijah Craig 18, and then out to the parking lot for the pours. It's great.
Yeah, it was a good start to the day, and then we get on the pick. Sylvia there is just the best. She's the absolute best. We're doing this pick. We've got our samples here. We're tasting through them. And I think we all had different things to say about all the barrels. It was kind of an interesting pick. I don't know that I can ever recall a pick going this way. And I do have some video footage I need to put together for the 4 Roses pick and for this pick that I'll try to get done as soon as possible for you guys. But we went through the first barrel in contention was, I would say, it turned out to be the oldest. It also, I would say, it's a fair point to say it was the most on profile Elijah Craig barrel proof pick of the bunch. It kind of fit the profile.
It would be it. I mean, it wasn't quite a C923, but it was higher end of an ECBP release.
Yeah, and then the second in contention I thought it was a really interesting barrel. It was probably the most off profile. It had like this mocha type thing going on in it. And it just, it was really good, but it had a kind of a bitter finish, and it was dry. I didn't mind the bitterness because it was like a black coffee bitterness, but it was drying.
It was pleasant real first. That mocha was right out the gate, and you're like, oh man, this is like maybe we're getting a Starbucks Frappuccino area. And then real quick it turned like not cinnamon flavor, but like when you do the cinnamon challenge and your mouth turns into a desert because you're trying to eat dry cinnamon. It was that with burnt charcoal mixed in. So
sounds amazing.
It wasn't all that bad. I don't think it was all that bad, but
I'm guessing you guys weren't the same on your
no. Well, I'm pretty sure Bud and I were both really digging, and I think JD was digging Barrel 2 a lot as well, just because it was so unique. But then again, we always have to think about you guys too. Like going there and picking something wild and wacky and off the walls, fine. If you're just picking it for, whatever reason, but like we want to deliver you guys really, really good quality, top tier whiskey here. So the third barrel in contention, I mean, we got to that, and that thing was like, oh man, I think I was the first person to drink all of mine and then go back to the beaker for more. And I think I got a little side eye from Sylvia of like, hey, take it a little easy. And I'm like, I know, I just want more and more and more of this. This thing is the coolest thing about it. We didn't know anything about what we were picking at the time. It's all blind. At the end, she gave us all the information on everything. It was the highest proof of the bunch at 129.8 as of the time of tasting. Of course, that can fluctuate and change a little bit by the time it gets bottled. I think everybody there thought it drank like 112.
Oh,
like
by far. We thought it was
drank
at least 10 proof points lower than it actually was.
Nice.
Yeah, we thought it was 10 proof points lower than the other two pours, which we thought were around low 120s. And it was the highest proof by a large margin. And it was so sweet. It's just, oh man, it's like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's exactly, I mean, it is just absolutely dangerous. It's deliciously dangerous. And then when she was telling us about what we had selected, it turns out it's a Bernheim barrel. And I asked her on the pick, it's in the video. I said, how many Bernheim barrels do you guys let into the single barrel program? And she goes, very few. And she counted up her list and everything. And she goes, I've got everything I've got available for selection right now. We've got only 2 barrels of all the barrels that we're selecting are Bernheim barrels. So she's like, whenever I see these come across, I get really excited about putting them into picks because it's an expression of Elijah Craig barrel proof that most people aren't familiar with. It still tastes like ECBP, but the nuttiness is way down. The sweetness is way up. It is just such a beautiful expression. And
awesome.
It is absolutely crushable.
So Paul, no, it's not a Bernheim wheat barrel. It's from the Bernheim distillery warehouses. So remember, like, quick recap, 1996, Heaven Hill distillery burns down. They have no distillery. Jim Beam and some other places help them out. They start getting going. The next year, they buy the Bernheim distillery. So since 1997, everything distilled by Heaven Hill has been distilled at the Bernheim distillery. Typically, what they'll do is they'll take those Elijah Craig barrels and bring them back over to either the main Heaven Hill campus or another campus they have in the traditional rickhouses. But Bernheim at the distillery in Louisville, they also have brick warehouses for the barrels. And that's what makes this Elijah Craig barrel so unique. It was not aged on the main campus in the traditional rickhouses with the metal siding. It was aged in the brick warehouses in Louisville on the Bernheim campus. And so they said less than 10% of their barrels from the barrel pick program come from there. And at the time, it was like only 1% of the barrels she had were Bernheim. So yeah, something people aren't usually getting.
Very, cool. very, very rare to get our hands on one of these. It's interesting that the pick one out because we were talking about, we went through the whole process of like, I know Joe was in love with the first barrel. Some of us were really in love with the uniqueness of the second barrel. But when we were talking about, what makes the best pick for you guys, I mean, we were all on board with the third barrel. So
yeah, I got outvoted. I stuck with barrel number 1, but I got outvoted. It was okay.
And Joe, it's okay to be wrong.
It is okay.
Exactly.
Well, hey, I'm just trying to be like Josh.
It is. To your defense, not again, you were wrong, but to your defense, it was the most classic. So there is something to be said for that. But man,
we did a Elijah Craig barrel proof pick once, and we selected a Deatsville barrel, and the Deatsville barrel it sounds like a lot like you're describing, Josh. Like the peanut flavors were toned down and the sweetness was amped up. And it was like it was honestly almost like a vanilla cupcake. It was beautiful. It was just so different and off profile from any other Elijah Craig barrel proof I've had. I don't know if it's like that, but it sounds similar. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to try it.
I mean, chocolate, caramel, vanilla, just, oh, dude, so sweet, so good. I'm absolutely in love with it. When we were done with the pick, they thieve out of the barrels and put them into larger beakers that you pour from. And there was whiskey left in the other beakers, but the one we picked, that was completely empty. we drained that.
Yeah, and the unique one, barrel 2, the unique one was lower too. So we were also concerned with the yield on that one. I mean, I don't think anybody thought it was going to be good enough to pick, but that helped the decision right off the bat when it was questionable whether or not it was going to yield enough bottles. So
yeah, and I do see a lot of people are saying the Founders pick was great. It'll be hard to beat. It'll be interesting.
This is very different than the Founders pick. The Founders pick, I thought, very fruity and jammy. This is very different.
Yeah, this is more on the desserty side, like sweet dessert, and it's quite a bit higher proof, but I think it drinks lower proof. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out when people compare them. Thankfully, I've still got some Founders left, and I plan on holding on to it until we get this one in to try. Adam said, and we're going to get into some year-end event stuff, but he said, Josh, how many bottles of the Barrels for Hope NBC will I be walking away with after the year-end event? I don't know, man. I'm vying for a lot of them. So I need a backup to my backup.
And we have a whole segment with Kim about this earlier, but since we are talking about it and everybody's talking about the Founders pick, there are going to be Founders pick bottles at the year-end event, and there's still tickets left. So if you're watching this and you have not got your tickets yet, you need to do that quick to get a hold of these bottles.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. We've got in the auction, in the silent auction there on site, we're going to have 6 of the Founders picks available for auction. And again, these have already been paid for. All the money donated for these silent auction bottles is 100% going to charity. So we've got 6 of the Founders picks. We've got 9 of the Short Barrel picks in the auction. And we've got 7 of the Nashville Barrel Company picks in the auction. And then we've got we'll have some of all the other picks in the auction as well.
Yeah, and we can talk about that more when we get to the segment. But just so you know, since we're talking about these picks, don't let those tickets pass you up.
And Kevin did ask, when is the auction for the bottles? Saturday night? And Kim, I'll pitch
it'll be all weekend. We are working to get it up on an online platform, and the tentative goal would be to get it live by Thursday of that weekend.
And if you're not going to be there in person, post on Discord, find a proxy, let them know how much you're willing to pay for certain bottles. This isn't like an A1 shipping arrangement thing or anything like that. This is we've got all kinds of liquor licensing laws we have to follow. You need to have somebody there that can leave with the bottles in hand. So we want to encourage that early and often. If you're not going to be there, but you want a backup of any of the picks we did from year one, please, 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 please talk with somebody, set up a proxy, and try to get that worked out.
Oh,
all right.
Andy says, can we talk about the food at Jim Beam? Oh man.
Yeah. So that was my first time ever actually eating at the new Jim Beam restaurant. If you guys are in Kentucky, you got to go by there. It's so good. Get that. What was the jalapeno duck jalapeno popper thing?
The duck poppers.
Oh my goodness.
Dude,
they were so good. I just wanted to run my head through a wall. They were so good.
Those empanadas.
Oh, the empanadas. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, definitely check out that restaurant.
I'm telling you what, whoever is going on the Knob Creek pick is in for a treat.
All right, so let's kick it over to Kim. We've got a couple of annual event things to cover. So Kim, if you want to take it away.
Sure. So it's hard to believe, but the annual event is 6 weeks away.
That's
crazy.
Excuse me?
6 weeks. So as Joe said earlier, we have just a few tickets left, and these tickets have been opened up to others beyond our membership. So if you haven't gotten your ticket and you want to go, please get it. I don't expect them to stick around too much longer. The room block is going to close on June 13th. So if you're going to the event and you don't have your room booked yet, make sure you book it. Big news, we have annual event t-shirts. And so they are up on the Barrels for Hope website in the shop. They look awesome. Thanks to Whitney. She did a great job creating it, but it's in the lightweight tri-blend athletic t-shirt, which is awesome for hot summertime days in a few different colors. I just got my shipping notice today that it is getting shipped, so I'm super excited. And then the one other thing I have is I will be sending out a Know Before You Go email probably late June. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for showing it. Yep. So that's the annual event. And can you blow up the front? Because what I really love about it is it's the logo, but it also says Barrels for Hope annual event, like around the logo. So I think that looks really cool.
Oh, it does
Yeah,
say.
it's like
does say that.
it's like
does.
it's
Yeah.
like circular text around it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then that's the back.
There we go. And these are on the athletic shirt build, so they're going to be kind of like a cotton poly blend. You can see it right there. But so it's summertime, right? Summertime in Kentucky is not the coolest of months to be visiting there. So it's going to be lightweight. It's going to let some air flow through. Absolutely awesome to be able to get our hands on these before the event.
And then, as I was saying, I will be sending out a Know Before You Go email. So look for that later in June, just with reminders and details and things you'll want to know going into the weekend.
Awesome. Man, it's hard to believe it's that close. I know it feels like there's been so many things going on behind the scenes. Like seems like every month our meetings just get a little longer and a little longer because there's so much stuff to discuss and so many I's to dot and T's to cross, and we are working fervently. And hats off again. Never going to miss an opportunity to give Kim some praise on making this event what it is. It's going to be an absolutely awesome time.
Thanks.
You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, I was caught looking down when you were, because I'm ordering my annual event shirts right now.
I'll tell you again, if this was, Joe's got his act together too, so I'm sure he could pull something together. But if this is me and Lance putting it together, we're going to be in the parking lot somewhere with some lawn chairs, just hanging out, drinking whiskey until we get kicked out.
I mean, I can throw a get together, but Kim is.
Yeah,
this is next level stuff.
It is
Absolutely next level stuff. So, and all the cocktail class and the pursuit excursions, those are sold out.
Yep,
Those are closed. Those are closed down. But again, this is open to other people now as well. So with these last few spots, again, all this is just more money for charity. If it's open to other people, but if you have a +1 that you would like to bring, or if you're bringing a +1 and would like to bring a +2, it's open for that as well. All right. I think
and
that's
I will
it.
say one other thing. So Joe and I went and did a food tasting at the Hyatt a couple weeks ago.
Do we even want to tell them what's on the menu? Oh,
I wasn't going to. I was just going to say it was like up here, and I thought it was going to be good, but it is like good.
Oh, it's not. It is not hotel food.
No.
It is multiple star chef restaurant food. The head chef actually came out to the table and presented each course and talked about what they were. And oh, wow.
Yeah. So I hope you'll all love it. We had a lot of fun tasting a lot of food.
That's awesome.
Well, I know what's on the menu, and I'm excited about it. I can tell you that much.
Oh man,
I think everybody is going to be incredibly happy. Like just knowing the way the event's coming together, this is like a premier level event.
Oh, you think of all the top whiskey events that happen throughout the year, this is going to rival those. I mean, it truly is.
And what those cost, like, like those are quite a bit more expensive. So, we'll see. This might be your year one discount to get in on it, and everybody's going to find out how awesome it is. And year two might cost a little bit more money, but we'll see when we get around to that time. But
if nothing else, you guys should go just to see me cry, because I'm gonna cry. I'm definitely gonna cry.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the chat. I saw that Terry did ask. He said he missed out on the ECBP sign up for the pick because he didn't see his email that day. For future barrel pick signups, can we have the email go out one day and then the deadline the next day?
So I think normally there is more time. ECBP was kind of last minute, and that's just unfortunately how it works with distributors and scheduling and distilleries, and sometimes it's out of our control because we're like way low down on the totem pole being the organization, right? And then we are only able to do this because of how awesome Narav is in A1 Liquors, right? But that's the retailer. Well, then the retailer's got to schedule through the distributor, and the distributors, getting their allocations from the distillery. So there's a lot of rungs on that ladder that these have to go through, and it's unfortunate that sometimes it's kind of last minute, and that's kind of what happened with ECBP. But typically, and I think in a lot of other picks, it has been longer, multiple days at the sign.
Yeah, I think that was a one-off. I can't remember the circumstances behind it, but
I think the date got locked down. We were doing the live stream the very next day.
I want a job where I don't have to check my email every day, though, Terry. Come on.
All right. So if you guys
comment, sorry, he's asking if the event is sold out. No, we have just a few tickets left, open to anyone. So if you don't have a ticket and you want one, now is your chance to get it.
Just go to barrelsforhope.com, events tab, and then you can see, I think the form link's on there, or email Kim is on there. All the stuff you need is on there. So
yeah.
All right, you guys want to get into these dark arts picks, and then we can.
I've been getting into them this whole entire live stream.
Yeah, I know, but I'm getting ready to pour a third.
Yeah, I gotta re-up a little bit here.
I've never went through bottles as fast as these dark arts bottles. It is a problem.
They are delicious.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
All right, then I'm having these side by side.
I still think we're right, Joe, unless you change your opinion.
Did we talk about all this on the stream?
So I think now that they're bottled, Bill and I we're going to step outside. Bill and I were going to step outside.
The most contentious pick I think we've ever had.
The most. But now that they're bottled and we have them, okay, just especially on the nose, side by side, the sherry one the nose is outrageous.
Dude, the sherry blends with that mash bill so well. It complements it so well.
And as a refresher, the way that this is the benefit of I don't know if it's charity. I don't know if, maybe Lance gave Macaulay a wink and we didn't see it, or, I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly what happened on the pick, but when you're there, you're tasting through things, and Macaulay's like a little speedboat. Like ECBP, they got their barrels they're going to roll out for you. You taste what you taste. If you don't find something you like, you can press them, but, you kind of have a more limited selection. When you do a pick at a place like Dark Arts, Macaulay is like seeing what we're tasting, and he's pivoting based on what we're saying we like or what we don't like. With this particular sherry pick, we had tasted through several things, and we tasted this mash bill, which is the highest rye MGP mash bill, the 51 corn, 49 rye. And it was one of our favorite unfinished. It was one of our favorite things we tasted on the entire pick.
It was beautiful.
I think for me, it was my front runner. I think it was
mine too.
It was quite a few other people's front runners. And Macaulay is like, if you guys like that, I got something in the back I'll go pull for you guys right now because I got a sherry finish in this mash bill. We've never released one of these before ever. This is our first one. And he went and pulled it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of us saw stars in our eyes when we tasted it. The only reason it was so contentious is because the white port is really good too. So, it's like, how do you pick between two amazing barrels?
At the pick, I was adamant the white port was better. I mean, they're both amazing, but the white port was better. I was adamant. I was ready to step outside because Bill was fighting for the sherry one. And I still love the port. The port is, I mean, I don't know how you can not like it. However,
Fat Kid whiskey.
I will say, sitting here today with them both bottles side by side, I'm slightly enjoying the sherry one a little better. So
the sherry one is really well balanced, and it's got even some tobacco and cocoa that comes through.
So I will say the sherry is more balanced than the port, but I'm loving the port is so unique and interesting.
Yeah,
it is.
And they're both bourbons finished in it. And recently I have been enjoying ryes finished more than bourbons.
Well, I think the difference is a lot of these distilleries that are finishing things are using lower quality, younger whiskey, and Macaulay is using like 7-8 year stuff and just blending it really well. And he's clearly not using.
Well, it's clearly
covering up mistakes, basically.
No, it's clearly his magic. I mean, there is an art to blending, and overseas, they've known it for decades and decades, right? The blender is more highly revered than the distiller. Okay. And I know that's what Macaulay said he is trying to bring to American whiskey. And if this is indication where he's going, my goodness.
Yeah, I remember him saying that about, and I really think it comes down to his technique and his touch that he puts on these, because a lot of times to Lance and Joe's point, both, a lot of times when you do finishing, people are using younger bourbons and they're finishing it for an excessively long period of time and trying to cover up, mask the youngness, impart other flavors. Macaulay he's not using young bourbon, and he's also not over finishing it either. I'm way more, Joe, I'm with you. I'm way more of a finished rye guy, and I tend to like my bourbon just straight down the middle. But these right here are, I mean, I don't know how anybody wouldn't love these. These are fantastic.
Yeah.
So
like
I got a question for you guys.
I would, if we ever submit something to the Ascot Awards, this sherry barrel is one that I think would be a contender for that.
Is this, I maybe tried it once. Wild Turkey did a sherry finish Master's Keep release. Did you guys try that?
Yeah,
No.
I've had it. It's the sherry finish is heavier than this.
So I've had it once, and I thought when we tasted this on the pick, in my mind, that's kind of the barometer, right? Like I'm thinking about that Master's Keep being kind of the most widely known, kind of revered sherry finish bourbon that I can think of that's like a mass market release.
Well,
and
so
I'm not tasting them side by side, but I like this. I think I like this better on recollection.
I do too.
Not a mass market, but you know what this has to get tried against? The Middle West cast strength sherry finished bourbon.
Oh, see, I don't have that one. You got that?
I don't have it.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, well, if somebody's got it, let us know. We're ISO.
So yeah, you guys let us know what your tasting notes are if you like it. The last comment I see in here is from Kevin. So
yeah, we can talk about that as we kind of definitely let us know which one you like more. I know the white port was getting a ton of love when people first got their hands on them. I'm really interested to see, this is like when I have this long held belief, a personal policy. When I have people over and I cook a meal, I'm eating the meal too. And so I know whether the food's good or not. So I don't need, if they compliment the food, that's fine. I know it's good. If they don't like it, that's their problem. You know, a lot of times when I'm picking barrels, I worry if I'm picking the right barrel or not. And I tend to just try to stay true to my palate. I can taste this and I know this is good whiskey. So I know they're both good. So it's saying you have one as a favorite over the other isn't a slight to the other one. We just want to know which one you guys like more, and give us some notes and stuff like that. And we'll kind of talk about those and questions as we go through here. So,
Yeah, and so I mean, we can talk about how the Starlight will play out, but for Mike's question there, yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a ton of barrels that are coming on the wholesale market. And so now it's my personal belief what's going to stand out. So gone are the days of getting your NDP, getting your federal license, buying some MGB barrels or Green River or Bardstown, throwing in a bottle and then making money. Like people are just spent on that. So blending and blenders are going to be, I think, in my opinion, become way more important. I mean, look at barrel, right? I mean, I know they've been in the news as of recently, but they're still amazing. And
you have their Mizunara. Their Mizunara is out of this world.
Yeah, and I mean they're blenders. There's a few really good examples of brands that are focusing on blending and creating a whiskey that is much better than its parts, right? And I think Macaulay is showing all of us that right here. And that will be with all of the higher age barrels from the big whiskey boom and the big, whiskey investor trend that would happen. We're going to have a lot of 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old barrels coming on the market, and blenders have an opportunity to get some of those. And then think 2, 3, 4 years from now, they're going to have 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old barrels that they're going to be able to be blended.
I wanted to address, Kevin said Found North, and it made me think. So Found North sent me their Helldiver. This Dark Arts pick destroys Helldiver at $50 cheaper per bottle. This destroys it.
It's certainly got way more body to it. Like the Helldiver, I thought was a great blend, but I thought it was a little thin. I
thought it was okay if it was an $85 bottle, but
yeah, I didn't like it. I personally didn't like it as much as I liked any of their regular batches, like batch
I
6,
agree.
batch
I
8.
thought I was on an island, Josh.
No, you're not. I'm with you. We'll be on the island together.
John just asked. I don't believe so. I don't think the base bourbon for the port was the 51.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think it was.
I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't that. The only two barrels that we tasted that had that highest rye 5149 mash bill were the unfinished one, and then Macaulay bringing this one out.
I think
they don't have a lot of it.
I think this was the standard 36% MGP bourbon.
Yeah, I think it was.
It says it right there: 60% corn, 36 rye, 4% malted barley on the lower right of the front label.
And I'll add to the Dark Arts discussion for those that weren't there. It's always cool to see people who really know bourbon, and everyone on that pick really knew bourbon, in a room debating over what was best for you guys. And we went round and round over whether it was the white port or the sherry. And now that we're home and we have the bottles, I mean, I couldn't be more pleased. I think we picked exactly right.
I am so glad that Bill is not on this live stream.
Because
the sherry is the correct pick.
Wait, we can't cut this out? I can't edit this out.
Hey, it's okay if he sees it. It's okay if he sees it after the fact. I'm just glad he's not here live.
He's been wrong enough. He needs flowers every once in a while. So.
Yeah, he was right. So let's before it gets too far away, let's get back to the Starlight question. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the only way you can do a barrel pick with 100 people is it's going to be.
We're going to get one of these.
Yeah,
by ballot.
And it's going to hold your samples. So you're going to walk through a bourbon barrel buffet and get samples. And then take it to a seat, to a corner, to the middle of the room, wherever you want to go to try your samples. And then vote by ballot.
Yep. Yeah, so there'll be, I don't know, a bucket with ticket. However we actually physically do it, it'll be a vote. And whatever barrel gets the highest number of votes, that's one we pick.
And are we doing that on an app, Kim, or is that not confirmed?
It's not confirmed. It will likely be paper, but it's
Okay,
not.
that's
confirmed.
fine. Yeah. But it's going to be awesome, man. That's going to be fun.
And it's going to be,
And-
summer at Starlight. I haven't been there in the summer yet.
Oh,
Like,
Also,
all of their
you
stuff.
get- by the way, if you don't know this, if you've never been there, one of the most gorgeous places on planet Earth. Let's be honest about that right up front. They have it's a working farm, and we're going to get to take farm tours. They have a freaking ice cream shop on site that's absolutely amazing. Their restaurant there is absolutely awesome, and we're having lunch there. Like,
It's also a winery.
it's a winery. Jason
And they're-
Corey's going to
they're-
be there.
Their finishes are so crazy. There is no telling what we'll be deciding between. There is no
Oh man,
telling.
there literally is no telling. When we went there to do a pick, I mean, Joe can attest, they were pulling out like blueberry port finish stuff and Turkish apricot brandy finish stuff, and
the
like
Turkish apricot was, that was
yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy what they have, and they got barrels on barrels on barrels there. So, and also, the benefit here too, and Lance, you can speak to this better than anybody, but Narav's got a fantastic relationship with Starlight. So
A lot of
we're not getting the entry level barrels. We're getting, we're going to be up the chain.
Yeah, and I think their willingness to want us to come there and knowing that what we do for charity, I think that helps on a lot of our barrels, honestly, because man, we have just got some amazing stuff. And I just saw Gary can make it to the year-end event. All right. Sweet,
Yes,
man.
let's go.
Nice.
And the Starlight pick will be one of the bonus bottles for the year, and it will be available through Sealbacks.
Nice. And so then that's two bonus. So we've got our core 6, right? But then we're going to have the Starlight as a bonus bottle, and we've got the 4 Roses. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that ain't bad.
No, that's not bad at all. Earl, I just had Detling single barrel this weekend at a restaurant, and it was fantastic. I was really worried it was going to be too crafty for me. But man, the single barrel I had was delicious.
So
I'd love to do
speaking
a
of
pick
down
with them.
south, a barrel pick, and whether that's Barrels for Hope barrel pick, an S&W barrel, MVP barrel pick, I want to be on a JT Mellett barrel pick. That's a barrel I want.
Yeah, I do too. I've never seen it in Illinois though.
Oh yeah, it's not distributed in Illinois, is it?
I don't think so. But Detling is, and I have a good relationship with the distributor for Detling. He does Barrel Craft and some other stuff too.
I mean, it would
If you guys are interested in Detling.
It would be
Go ahead, Joe.
unfortunate to have to step foot in the state of Alabama, but
It's true.
Roll Tide.
Have you met or seen anything on the owner there? He's an interesting dude. He is a no bullshit kind of guy, man. He I don't know. He seems I don't know. It would be an interesting pick. I definitely know that. But the single barrels I've tasted.
oh, John, come on, man. Get this stuff out of here.
Let's go, John. That's what I'm talking about. I will say I've got a sample of Detling from Zach Anderson, and I haven't tried it yet, but that stuff at, I think, 5 years old, it's like as dark as 13th Colony Double Oaked. It's insane.
It is dark.
It is insane what Alabama weather's doing to that whiskey. So if it tastes anything like it looks, that would be amazing. If you guys want that pick, let us know. We want to make sure we're not just picking willy-nilly for you guys. If that's a pick that you're interested in and you would like us to look into, let us know.
That would definitely be one that would qualify as a newer distillery, kind of like Hard Truth or Dark Arts or something like that. That not a lot of people have picks of. That it definitely doesn't taste like anything on the market, and that's not in a bad way, because a lot of like really young craft whiskey I'm not a fan of. I thought I was really impressed with it.
Oh, that's interesting. So Earl says Bruzel did a barrel pick there. He's got a video about it. So I'll have to check that out too.
Kevin did ask, assuming no news yet on the Four Roses pick. Well, no news as far as when it's coming in. He said regarding recipe and number of bottles. We don't know number of bottles yet. It's an OESF, which on paper, I think I'm pretty sure all of us here on screen have done the Four Roses, all 10 barrel tasting before. Several of us a couple of times, I know, together. And that's not a recipe that tends to come in top of the heap. What we can tell you guys is it's a tier 5. And we can tell you that, at least for me, I was interested to see what my second, third, and fourth place were, because those were all the recipes I normally pick. This is just an absolute monster of a barrel. And it
was clearly too.
Yeah. It was unanimous, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it was unanimous.
It was unanimous, and it was clearly ahead of the other.
And it's also 11 years.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's 11 years.
11
super old. Yeah, super old.
11 year.
I can confidently say, if you guys don't like this barrel, I don't know. I shouldn't even say it anymore, but it is fantastic.
If you've ever had
a bottle, I'll pay you for it.
Yeah. If you've ever had an OESF or even an OBSF, this is not like any F you've ever tasted. This F will blow your mind. Just leave it at that.
Michael always also says, why not a Blue Note? I don't know. I love Blue Note picks.
Yeah, it's definitely not off the table, Michael. I mean, a lot of these, there's so many distilleries. Nothing is off the table, literally.
Well, the only thing would be what's not distributed in Illinois.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if it's distributed in Illinois, it's on the table. It's just, it's all a balancing act of, like Joe explained earlier, getting from the distributor to Narav, figuring out what A1 wants and what they don't want, and then trying to balance out, what legacy picks we can get, and then what other stuff we can get, and then just the distributor not getting every barrel. Everything's allocated, so
the other
Narav
thing
gets notice from the distributor. Hey, I've got this, and this. Which do you want? And then Narav contacts us, and we have to pick it. So it's
So the other thing for everybody to understand also, which is really cool about this organization too, right? Like, we get to kind of tell you guys the inside industry a little bit and kind of hopefully show you a little more than other whiskey groups get to know. And it's not just, A1 Liquors and Rob, their allocation of barrel picks. The state of Illinois for different distilleries is only allocated so many bottles, and the distributor has to split those through the distillery. So even though the distributor might want to give Narav a barrel, they might not have any left for the state. So and then there's a whole other thing from state to state and transfer allocation. So it's which actually happened last year to us with the short barrel. We actually had to ask another state to transfer a barrel allocation. So it's really weird how that works.
Yeah. So luckily we have a partnership with a store that sells a lot of alcohol, because he's in competition with other stores for those allocations. So we're really in a fortunate spot being able to partner up with A1, because they do a lot of business, and he's getting ready to build another store and do more business. So all good things, I think.
Yeah, the logistics. I mean, if you guys could just see the logistics behind the scenes, it's barrel picking is a crazy thing.
Almost ruined my vacation.
I mean, sometimes things come up and the I don't know, the roof is on fire, and you got to figure out, there are things that just have to be decided in a split second's notice. We've got organizationally, we're always mindful of cash flow, making sure we can, make our charity goals and all that stuff. So we've got, it's like that old thing with all the different plates spinning. It feels a lot like that at times. But I just as one board member, I want to take a second to recognize the entire board, because it takes all of us to be able to pull this off, and we could do whatever we wanted if you guys didn't support and weren't a part of this with us and didn't have the heart for charity that y'all have, and appreciate good whiskey and the community that the way that you guys do. Like, I mean, it literally takes all of us to do this, and we all play our parts. And 100%. I think in the end, it creates something pretty special, and we get some pretty dang good whiskey out of the thing too. So it feels like a win-win-win, and just never going to miss the opportunity to thank everybody for being a part of this. It's an amazing thing,
dude. Yeah, all I drink now is Barrels for Hope picks. That's pretty much all I drink.
Dude,
I'm gonna tell you what. So I'm reorganizing everyone. I mean, you guys relate, right? Reorganizing your whiskey room or your shelves, and I'm setting aside a Barrels for Hope shelf, and you line up all those picks, and you're just like, wow, that's.
Yeah. I think Joe, you said it best on the Dark Arts pick, when you're like, what we want when we go on a pick is for somebody to be able to pull out a bottle at a dinner and share it with somebody and know how special it is and how good it is. And yeah. I think we've accomplished that on everything so far.
Yeah. We're not interested in okay barrels, or honestly, we're not even interested in good barrels. They have to be great.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to put that stamp on the picks that we get. And I tell you, tasting these two right here side by side, I've tasted them a little bit prior to this, but I really wanted to kind of save any kind of evaluative thing till I was on this. I'll say the white port is, Lance just keeps saying fat kid whiskey. It's so sugary sweet. It's dessert.
As it's been sitting in the glass, I'm going back to it. I'm just getting like white powder sugar donut over and over.
I get pears and white and sugar. Pears and sugar is what I get.
That white crystallized granulated sugar just all over them. This is like if I finish dinner and I'm like, I want dessert, this is the bottle.
Yeah.
If I were to write, if going into a pick, you were like, hey, you're going in, you're picking a sherry finished bourbon, write it out. What do you want it to be like? This is the output. If my input is I want the perfect sherry finished bourbon, this is my output. It's got all that it's got all that like raisiny, figgy sweetness of dark fruit up front, and then it transitions into that kind of like sweet tobacco leaf and pipe tobacco on the finish, and the balance is just crazy.
John doing some Dark Arts magic right here.
I'm working on that, John.
I'm on it. I'm on it,
John.
Are we 50-50 in this?
That's what I'm going to do.
Prudent, right?
I don't want to ruin this sherry though, man. It's so well done.
We got to try it though.
I don't think you could ruin it.
Well, that's the wrong choice of words.
Yeah, you still want to have just the sherry available.
Yeah. It is hard to believe that the blend could be better than the individual parts, but you never know.
Yeah.
Watch us all hate it, and we just light in on John real quick.
Put yourself out there, John. Wait till you get a YouTube channel.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh, the nose. He might
be onto something.
It's good.
I just smelled it, and the nose is ridiculous.
He might be onto something. Taste it.
I like them individually, just because, like I said, I think that sherry. I don't smoke cigars, but if I did, I think that's just a perfect pairing with a cigar, and it's just a different animal than the white port, which I'd have like post dinner for a dessert pour.
So if they are amazing separate, the blend is really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
The blend comes through with I'm getting like this real big punch mid palate of like this sweet and spice thing going on that doesn't exist individually, but it's coming through with a ton of oomph. Are you guys getting that?
Yeah.
It does. Well, so that's what I was picking up, the power from the port, the sugar enough and the power. The sherry finish was tonight coming across very well rounded and refined and very nice. It's like when Josh puts on his sweater vest and his cardigan. He's got his leather bound books and his pipe tobacco. That was the sherry. But together, it's giving the sherry that oomph.
Kim, what do you think? You got better palates than all of us put together.
That's not true.
That is true.
I've been sipping on the sherry tonight, which I absolutely love. I like the white port as well. I did not try it blended because I was running late and didn't grab that one. Only grabbed this one. But I will tell you, I had 2 pours the other night when I found out about my promotion at work.
Oh, you got promoted?
I did.
Hey,
Right.
congratulations.
But it was this one and 4 Roses 135th. Those were the 2 pours I had that night.
Good company. The blend is really good.
Oh, do you see Aaron? Love a sweater vest.
She's always around. She's always around. You got to watch out for her.
So Kevin said, assuming we should use Discord to discuss the logistics before you're an event, several of us getting together in Middle West. And yes, please use Discord for that. And if you can, I mean, that would be so cool. Find people along the way going, carpool together, line up a little caravan, stop at some other places.
Yeah.
I mean, do it up.
We're close enough to the event now that I will actually create a 2024 annual event section in Discord. So that way all the information can be compiled right there.
Well, you did good, John.
You're lucky because I love shitting on people. So you're lucky.
The other thing, Josh, did you guys notice on the blend? I think the viscosity improved, the mouthfeel improved on the blend versus just on their own.
It is oily, man. It is. It's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's almost
Jason.
it's thick.
Jason said it reminds him of a high proof rum. The blend.
A lot of people said that. Didn't a lot of people say the sherry reminded them of a rum? Or am I thinking of a different bottle?
No, I think you're right.
The National Barrel Company pick reminded me of
that's
rum.
what it was. It was the NBC pick.
Especially on the nose. On the nose.
I thought it was mentioned at Dark Arts too.
It probably was.
I recently did a blind flight of a whole bunch of NBC picks, and I had our Barrels for Hoping in there, and it there was no mistaking it. It is such a when I was talking to them about doing a pick and like what we were doing it for, and those guys have such a big heart for charity anyways. They pulled out some crazy barrels, and that's
that bottle has went from like when I tried it at A1 for the first time and I got a weird note on it but I was drinking out of a little glass, and then I came home and drank it. I was like, oh man, this bottle's really good. And then I had it a few more times. I was like, this is really good. And then the ECBPs beat it in a blind for me. But then Ed gave it to me against some Stag Juniors in a double blind. I had no idea what I was tasting. And I got to the NBC pick, and I was like, whatever this is blows everything else out of the water. And he starts laughing. He goes, well, you just put the Barrels for Hope against a bunch of Stag Juniors. And I was like, yeah, it's not even close. It made Stag Junior taste young. And the NBC pick was younger probably than the Stag Juniors.
Yeah, probably.
That bottle's special, man.
Dude, NBC is my favorite. I mean, I pull no punches about it. That's my favorite stuff. Hometown bias, call it what you will. I don't really care.
You're backing it up though. You're starting to back it up. You're starting to win me over, Josh.
I'll send you a couple of flights, Lance.
All right.
I'll get you a couple of flights. But
all right.
Yeah, to me, their stuff is so good, and I've got the inside knowledge of what's hitting at any given point in time, right? And when we went in to do that pick, the barrels were just on point. The barrels have been on fire this year there, and I've got more NBC than anything else, and I've got it. I think that's single-handedly the most unique NBC pick I have of the entire. I can't even tell you guys how many bottles of NBC I have.
all the couple channels that have reviewed it have had their minds blown. Like Chuck with Power of Bourbon keeps messaging me. He's like, I need a bottle. I'm like, dude, I don't have any bottles.
Year-end event auction.
Year-end event auction.
Let's raise some money for charity and get some bottles in our hands.
NBC Barrels for Hope, Swag Junior, Sunday Brunch, People's Bourbon.
So that's one I honestly wouldn't mind doing a pick of every year. It's that freaking good. But I know we don't want to repeat a lot of picks, and we do Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. But god dang, is it good, man?
I mean, you guys can let us know in the chat. Like, did you like the NBC enough? If the barrels are that good, do you want us to potentially think about doing a follow up in year 2 or maybe year 3? Maybe we push it to year 3. You can let us know. I mean, you're talking to a guy that's picked. I've picked 5 barrels at NBC this year so far, and I've also been a part of 2 other picks. And we're only 5 months into the year. I've already done 7 picks there this year.
And the thing about NBC is, like, we've been doing them in A1 for a couple of years now, and they're not getting worse; they're getting much better.
Their stuff's getting better,
but they're not the same either.
Right?
They keep on getting better and better, but they're different, and they're still good and better. It's not like, okay, yep, it's the same one as we did last year.
Yep.
They're not.
I'm here for the NBC Love Fest. Let's go. Let's go.
It's good to be right, isn't it, Josh?
There's nothing I love more. Aaron will tell you that I am right so rarely in life. I'm almost never right. Ask her.
That's not true.
She can leave it. She can leave it in chat. It's like it's in the single percentiles that I'm right because she's right so much. It's hard for me to be right when she's right so much.
Hey, the women are always right.
But
that's just smart life, Josh.
Maybe you should agree with her more, and you'll be right more often.
Oh, dang! Speaking of hard truth.
I'll see myself out. So, John, we are confirming Mike and James are coming. That was last I heard, but we got to lock that down to get the hotel booked and everything for them. So, awaiting word on that. There will be 2 people from NBC there, probably Mike and James, but we'll see if that pivots.
Okay, Josh, do we have anything else on the official schedule?
That's it. This is an awesome stream. We had a bunch of news for you guys with the charity committee, the Knob Creek pick. We got a lot of good stuff coming out of the pipeline. This annual event's going to be one for the books, y'all. You don't want to miss. I mean, I get it that, work schedules might be tough to move around, or, if you got kids and summer's busy, I get all that. If you can be there, if there's even an outside possibility, I would strongly encourage you to make it a point to try to move mountains to be there, because this is going to be special.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're over an hour on a school night, so I think we've hit everything we wanted. I do want to raise a glass one last time with our Dark Arch to a cheers for all of you and everybody watching. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. Can't wait for the next stream is going to be right before the annual event. So
let's go.
Love it. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. Love you guys. Thanks for everything. Great job, barrel pick teams. You guys are killing it.
Let's keep it going.
Yep.